The world got turned upside down with the anomalies discovered in the Kamloops residential school site in an old apple orchard. But there's been no effort yet to actually verify that there's actually any remains there, right?
That's right, and there won't. I don't think there will be any, Cory. The only residential schools where they actually did this turned up absolutely no one. So there have already been searches at Pine Creek, Shubenacadie, and a couple of others, and there were the same stories about priests murdering and secretly burying children with the forced help of 6-year-olds, that type of nonsense. And the people really believed it. That's the sad part. And when they dug this up, they found, no, there was nothing there. And so Kamloops is, by now, they know that there are no bodies, and they are not going to be digging. They claim now as well, this is a sacred ground or something like that. But we know that's not true, because in Winnipeg, the governments are spending $40 million to sift on a totally pointless search to dig up toxic landfill reserves. So there aren't going to be any excavations there, because they know that there are no bodies. That's I'm quite sure that the sophisticated people in that community realize that they've made a terrible mistake.
I mean, a principled person would still want the mistake rectified. I mean, this has caused so much pain for the people who believe that these things happened, and uncertainty and division between, social populations that already had enough division to begin with. And I mean, to play the devil's advocate, what if there really are children buried there? It only makes sense that we would exhume them and find out if it was recent enough to try and find a perpetrator, and also to try and reunite those remains with the family so they can be properly interred. It's ridiculous that they claim that these things happened, but then say that we aren't going to investigate further.
Well, of course, and if there had been 215 children, or then the thousands that were later claimed, you would have some history of that. You would have parents who had gone to the authorities or the chief and said, "Where my children disappeared at residential school, where are they?" There's absolutely no history of it. No, we were, our group, I should explain, Cory, our research group came together very shortly after the original claim. I had written an article in a newspaper saying basically what I say now, that no, these are stories. This is a conspiracy theory. And we've been working on this for some time, and we recently found out some very interesting information. Our lead researcher has found out that really this is all part of a conspiracy theory which goes back to the 1990s, and which really was incorporated by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, this idea that there's thousands of disappeared children. It comes from a fellow named Kevin Annett, who was a defrocked United Church minister and made it his life's mission to tell wild tales about thousands, hundreds of thousands of children being killed at residential schools. And somehow, through our elected representatives, by the way, it was through an MP by the name of Gary Morasti, this eventually became part of TRC, that's the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's search. They had no business doing it, but they went on this wild goose chase. And that's why I believe, that's why Canadians were so willing to believe this absolutely improbable story about priests murdering and secretly burying children with the forced help of 6-year-olds. So they've been basically conditioned, and even all of the reporters in the mainstream news have sort of been conditioned to believe that this story must be true, but of course it's completely false.
You can become a Western Standard member for just $10 a month or $99 a year for unlimited access.